Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to World of Warships with Koala. And welcome aboard the other Tier 9 US Navy battleship, the Georgia. It's been a while since we had a World of Warships game, isn't it? I apologise. I've been specifically wanting to grow up a decent World of Warships audience, and that's not going to happen if I'm not keeping the videos coming, is it? Anywho, this replay was sent in by Mike Wazowski. Now that title will make a little more sense to you. And before all of you run screaming to the comments, yes, he's using free damage repair. At least he's got the premium versions of all his other consumables. Are they premium? I don't quite know if they should be called premium. They are bought with silver after all, rather than gold doubloons. I don't know. But anyway, the Georgia. Tier 9 premium US battleship armed with 18-inch guns. She's a paper ship, of course, designed around those all-important guns. The US were testing out 18-inch guns as a theoretical main armament for a future fast battleship project, which became the Montana class, which, as we know, got, or would have got, and does have in World of Warships, 16-inch guns. But then never got built anyway because they were too fat to fit through the Panama Canal. The guns themselves can still be seen. They're on display in Virginia. 8 of them were made in total. The battleship, however, never came to fruition, and there are various reasons for that. The shells were bigger and heavier, which negatively impacted rate of fire. The weight of the things meant only 2 of them could be mounted in a turret rather than 3, something which sticks out like a sore thumb among these high-tier US Navy battleships and was not well received by the Navy in real life either. They wanted triple gun turrets, even if it meant smaller guns. The range might have been good. These guns were actually able to fire all the way out past 40 kilometers in real life, although don't be expecting that here in World of Warships. Not that you can get the ship anymore anyway. But on top of all of those cons, the penetration of these 18-inch super heavy armor piercing shells wasn't much better than the 16-inch shells that ended up being fired by the South Dakota and Iowa class. In fact, in some cases it was actually worse. Now that probably sounds like a very negative way to start on the Georgia, and it is. Looking on paper, this ship very much shouldn't be a good ship. Not only are there all of those negatives, but the range is halved from what was achieved by these guns historically. Mike here has a maximum range of 20 kilometers, which is pittance compared to the intercontinental range of the Tier 9 and 10 US battleships' 16-inch guns. Although Mike does have the spotter aircraft to improve that. Luckily, he won't be needing the fighter consumable this match as there aren't any carriers. Armour isn't fantastic either. In fact, because this ship is based on a 1938 project, the Montana class may have been the realisation of the work done on said project, but by that time, these 16-inch, 50 caliber long Mark 7s had already been decided on as the main gun. What we have is essentially another South Dakota class hull, like the Alabama or the Massachusetts. Georgia also isn't nearly as stealthy as Iowa. In the last video, for example, we saw an Iowa with a surface detection range of just over 12.5 kilometers, while Mike Wazowski here in the Georgia, well, he's just fired, so his detection range has billowed outwards. But his surface detection range in this battle is up at 15 kilometers. You've also got 5,000 less HP than the Iowa in the Georgia, and of course the problem of only having 6 guns, rather than 8, 9, or even 12 like most battleships at these tiers tend to do. Although it was plenty enough to score a nice Citadel hit on the enemy Nagato. So we're not doing too well so far, are we? The ship really doesn't seem all that capable by Tier 9 battleship standards. And that is what most players see when they look at the Georgia, in my experience. But don't worry, Wargaming took care of that with their appropriately named box of gimmicks. Let's see, shall we? Well, the ship suffered in fire rate in real life, thanks to the bigger guns and their immensely heavy rounds, which are 20% again the weight of Yamato's. But Wargaming elected to forget about that. USS Georgia has a 26-second reload on her main battery guns. Somehow. The shells weren't much better in penetration than the ones fired from the 16-inch guns, but Wargaming said never mind that, and gave them some of the highest penetration in the game. At close range, these shells will pen more armour than a Kremlin. Oh no, mines, what are you doing? The accuracy is better than most of our contemporaries. Wargaming pulled a buff to that out of their box of tricks. so Georgia can fire faster and hit more consistently than most of her contemporaries, even with only 6 guns. Allowing her to do that, that was Mike's second Citadel so far. And although the ship was projected to suffer in speed when compared to the Iowa class, Wargaming said, what was that? Fast battleship? Well then, by all means, have an engine boost to rocket you up to, with a speed flag, a whopping 40 knots. Oh dear. There goes the mines with a double Citadel. That's now 4 Citadels Mike's racked up. Out of only the 3 salvos he's fired so far this match that have actually done any damage at all, the rest have either missed or ricocheted. More shots out. Oh, lucky Chapayev there, survived with mostly overpens. He could have been deleted right there. But Georgia also, as you've probably noticed as the ticker keeps going up, inherits the absolute insanity that is the Massachusetts secondaries, which have just an insultingly far range and are currently working over the Sovietsky Soyuz. Yes, that one. Way over there in the distance. But Mike has another problem. That smokescreen over there wasn't laid by the Chapayev after all, and it keeps throwing 5-inch shells at him, so there's only one thing that could be in there right now. The enemy Fletcher, who just got caught with his pants down as his smokescreen ran out, leaving him at the mercy of, well, half of Mike's team basically. He switched his secondaries over to the destroyer, lines up a shot with the main guns, although of course it's armor piercing, so it's just going to over-penetrate. Plenty of shots coming in from Mike's team, and boom, there we go, close quarters expert. And now for the torpedo beats. Oh, very nicely done there, perfectly threaded between the Fletcher's torpedoes. That'll teach him to sit far too long in his smokescreen, hoping he can YOLO rush his way into a respectable amount of damage and at least 1 kill. Because this ship also gets much better handling than contemporary battleships like the Iowa. Once again, don't ask me how, it just does. Mike Wazowski switched his secondaries back over to that Sovietsky Soyuz, way over there. Over 125 hits now, he set a couple of fires, is it going to be enough? And it is, he's got him! His secondaries burned him down there, otherwise that would have been his second Close Quarters Expert award. Not that that Soyuz was close quarters to him at all, but that's just what these secondaries can do. And all that, coupled with the quirks of these guns I mentioned earlier, might make you think that Georgia would be a capable brawler, similarly to high-tier German BBs. Oh, but we can't, cried the players. Georgia isn't equipped with that citadel-stopping turtleback armour scheme. So Wargaming took another look in their box of gimmicks and pulled out the faster reloading repair party consumable from the Massachusetts. This thing can pump out a heal every 40 seconds. Mike's already gone through 2 of them and is ready to go on number 3 whenever he needs it. And there you go, he's just flicked it on. Oh, and as if all that wasn't enough, Georgia also has among the most punishing broadsides in the game. These shells each have a higher maximum AP damage output than Yamato, at an eye-watering 15,750 damage per shell. So I guess it's true what all the Viper and Corvette fans say, there's no replacement for displacement. So with all that jam-packed into this ship, you've got to ask why she wasn't just made a tier 8, and I think the answer to that is probably just because Wargaming didn't want 18-inch guns down fighting tier 6s, where the overmatch mechanics would make it pretty abusable. But with all the features Wargaming gave this ship in order to help it go toe-to-toe with other tier 9 battleships, they might have taken it a wee bit too far. And Mike, right on cue, snags his 4th kill on the enemy Nagato he fired at earlier on in this match. He's also put the engine boost on, and at this point in the match, well, look at the scores. The enemy team are down 7 ships to Mike's team's 3, and they're down to a measly 50 points. So I think Mike put the engine boost on to hopefully just snag some more damage before this game inevitably ends in a victory. Mike's actually had a division mate helping hold off this northern end of the map while his team gutter stomped the enemy around Charlie. You can see the majority of Mike's team now moving up to the west, while he's elected to push into the middle of the map in between these 2 islands here. Oh no. Yeah, the Buffalo really should have been paying a little more attention to his minimap and moved on, well, a lot sooner than that. But there's Mike's 5th kill, Kraken Unleashed and Confederate. But Mike's division mate went down some time ago through no fault of his own. He did all he could and managed to delay the enemy team long enough for Mike's team to set up a pretty nasty crossfire. And if you look around, although there are 4 ships left on the enemy team, and theoretically, they could still turn this around, but none of them that are left have enough health to really be doing anything fancy, and at this point, it is just cleanup time. Mike still has plenty of health remaining, and 2 of those rapid-fire hails left. And while nobody on his team is going to be contesting Alpha anytime soon, so they don't have a capture point advantage just yet, that's almost a good thing, because it just gives them more time to farm damage and kills on this poor enemy team. Oh, now that Zara could be a wee bit of a problem actually. Mike Wazowski has to angle against the Alsace in front of him. All the heals in the world won't save you from being citadeled to death. And while it's highly unlikely that the Zara is going to be able to citadel him from this range, in fact I don't think it's actually possible, he is able to chunk him pretty heavily, and may very well have that Italian heavy cruiser smokescreen left to hide him while he does it. He's far enough away to be able to fire undetected from within it. If he and the Alsace were coordinating their attacks at all and focusing on Mike's Georgia, they could very easily have killed him right here, but unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, neither of them are paying him any attention anymore, allowing Mike Wazowski to do, well, what the Georgia does best. There's his 6th kill and the high caliber award, 194,000 damage. And it doesn't hurt that he avenged his division mate who was up here in a Brindisi and was eventually sunk by that Alsace. And you'd think that'd have taught the enemy team to stop showing broadside to these 18-inch guns. And you'd be wrong. There's yet another citadel as the Iowa pushes out completely broadside. Although in his defence, with the crossfire that Mike Wazowski's team have on him right now, no matter which way he turns, he's presenting broadside to somebody. But still being on a relatively large amount of health, it's the Zara that's more likely to provide the final kill of the match. Just depends on who can get it. And it's Mike Wazowski in the Georgia. 7 kills in the end there, 220,000 damage, Kraken Unleashed, Close Quarters Expert, High Caliber and the Confederate Awards, earning almost 2/3 credits and 6,500 HP. I think Mike Wazowski was probably pretty happy with that one. 7 Citadel hits and 155 hits with the secondary gun batteries, which altogether accounts for over 40,000 damage, since Mike Wazowski wasn't firing any high explosive from his main guns at all this game. And why would you? So, USS Georgia, the 18-inch gun-toting, all-singing, all-dancing US paper battleship, with secondaries that make a Bismarck-sized water and a shell weight that turns Yamato's cheeks red, along with the ability to heal damage faster than the enemy can dish it out a lot of the time, and a nuclear power plant hidden below the deck capable of propelling this thing up to 40 knots. Yes, that's right, I said 40 knots. Calm down, US standard battleship players. Go change your underwear. USS Bullshit here is a hair under twice as fast as your New Mexico and Colorado. Do you think that's quite enough gimmicks for the ship to fit nicely into Tier 9? Because I certainly do. And with a result like that, I'm pretty sure Mike Wazowski did too, so thank you for sending that one in, lad. Sorry it took me so long to get around to it, but I did find that one thoroughly enjoyable to watch, and I hope you guys did as well. Anyway, that's it for today. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, join the coalition, and as always, keep a whiskey to hand, keep your kilt on, and I'll catch you next time. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting the channel on Patreon. Enrique Sun, Ian Anderson, Bluefeet, Mo, Roskill, Bias Remover, Metallic Rain, Charts 152, Crescent, Captain Fubar, Britlander, Seagull Nuts, DA261, Latvian Wolf, Gisli Gadarson and Dark Recon, you lads are bro. If you want to join them, then check out Patreon at the link in the description below.